ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Okay. Hello, welcome all to session 5 of our training. Today is going to be an interesting class. What we intend to do is go team by team and have you present what you've been working on, or your thoughts, your ideas, what you grasp from the topics discussed in the first module. And we'll just go down the list. We have a lot to cover today. So Smriti ji is here, Arun ji is here, I'm here, Anand ji is here. We'll all make notes, and we'll keep a record of things, and then we can always share that. We may or may not have a lot of time to discuss during the class itself, but this is just to make sure you have reviewed the material and kind of internalized it, understood what the essence of the topics are, and you're good to kind of add your own ideas and present it to the rest of us. Okay. So Ashwinji, do we have the team list that we can just walk down? Okay. I don't hear Ashwinji.
I believe we were part of group 1.
Yes. Yeah. That's okay. I can drive this. Yeah. So again, welcome everyone. We'll get started. And the first team, the first group was Deepti Bhatt, Akshay Zog, Dinesh Jivani, and Deepti Sharan. Do you all want to go first? Are you guys ready?
Yeah, we can go. Yeah,
I can see two of us.
that's fine. I can cover.
Sure, good. Go, G. Go ahead, G. Deepti Bhatt is there.
Oh, you guys now just see the screen. Okay.
It's coming up. Yeah.
No. Hold on. I may need to share the whole screen, I guess. Are you guys able to see?
Yes.
So I will give you some brief overview, and then we can bounce around for a couple of slides.
Yeah. So just one quick suggestion, G. If you can get the layout bar on the right side to go away. Yeah, much better.
Presentation mode. Yeah.
Okay, that's even better. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
So I think overall, I feel we are covering a lot more concepts here. But before even I could get to those concepts, I was thinking that we should look at some of the fundamentals, the way I'm looking at it. So that's what I will try to share a little bit, and then we can see how we can head into other avenues. So the first thing I wanted to look at is what are the different stages of life? Why I'm talking about this is the core learning happens in Brahmacharya stage. So just wanted to quickly flash out, what are different stages we have. So Brahmacharya, Gruhasthashram, Vanaprasthashram, Sannyas. Quickly, one line, Brahmacharya. Again, usually in the past, what I have read and heard so far is each is supposed to be like 25-year frame. So, so this is 25, 25, 25, 25, something like roughly like 100-year time span. I wouldn't go to like Ramayana and Mahabharata time frame, knowing that some of the people have been potentially thought to live like more than 100 years and whatnot. But roughly, this was kind of the lifestyle that we had, that you should try to learn, focus in your Brahmacharya, Grihasthashram, have your family life, and so on and so forth, carry out those responsibilities. Vanaprasthashram is more of withdrawal, like your kids are now grown up big, you try to withdraw a little bit and lean more on the new generation, and then sannyas is more of you're going to take off and go and live somewhere else. But the last part is you're also completely, uh, you're devotional, right? Like you're completely surrendering yourself to God and so on and so forth. So, but the key part here, I just wanted to focus here is just the brahmacharya. Uh, Dipti ji, if you want to quickly talk about Sharan, you can just read through the slides, like what are the basics of brahmacharya?
Sure. So Brahma is the our ultimate reality. Charya is the way of life. I'm kind of reading the slides right now. So the time when, as Akshayji said, the time when we are gaining knowledge, and it does not mean academic knowledge alone. The emphasis is on spiritual knowledge, and knowledge enough to be able to support our parents when our kids when we enter Grihastha ashram. Worldly knowledge, finance. I mean, we didn't call them finance and trading and. But all of these were taught during the brahmacharya when the kids went to Gurukul system. All of the different strains, and then yeah, but in
No, that's fine. That's fine. So this is the main part about the brahmacharya. Dipti, you want me to go ahead talk about this one?
Go ahead, Ji.
Yeah. So again, just I'm trying to zoom in on, where do we start? Like, what are the different stages? And now inside brahmacharya, I'm not going about very specifics, but generally when I read, people are saying, hey, after 6 or 8, people will go to Gurukul, but I'm getting there. Before that, I just wanted to quickly flash what are the qualities of student, which I think we also covered in IKS class. The main Sanskrit shlok is Kaka Cheshta, Bako Dhyana, Shwana Nidra Tathaiva cha, Alpahari Gruhatyagi, Vidyarthi Pancha Lakshanam. So Pancha means 5. So quickly I'll run through it. Kak means like crow. The easiest thing I would say is like, see how he's moving. If many of you guys have seen crows in India, they are pretty alert, they are nimble, they are always doing something. Bako is crane. I hope you guys have seen some videos, or you might have seen those in your own villages and whatnot, where they are sitting very idle and still. The moment they get a small fish, they just snap on it, right? So that's kind of should be the focus. Again, this is from the quality of student. And some of these things that we are talking about were also observations made by human beings and mainly rishis to kind of say that how do we get inspiration from nature. So that's also kind of some of the hidden points behind it. Shwana Nidra, Shwana means dog. If some of you have dogs, or in India, you guys will see that even with the smallest sound, they are pretty much, they are woken up, they are alert, they are kind of see that, hey, what's happening? They are not just sitting. Again, if I have to compare it to myself, I'm definitely not Sean. I think I can sleep quite well. If something happens, maybe if there is a big gunfire or bomb drop or something, maybe I'll wake up. But this is a quality that students should have, and maybe I should also have since I'm learning. Alpahari, Alpa is something that means small. Hari means like, what's your diet? What it means is like, in this day and age, if you guys look at it, we all have, lots of money. We all want to consume. If you look at my belly and tummy, I'm sure it's definitely not Alpahari. But in the past, people understood that if you just, grow in your tummy size, I'm not talking about other size, but just your tummy size, then how you will behave, how you will think, what you will do, how you will do. So again, as part of the student, they are saying, hey, try to make sure, eat little less. Gruhatyagi, Gruha means again home. Tyagi is again you're trying to renunciate, or Tyag means usually act of giving up. I won't say literally that, in the old time's sake, I will say people like the kids were going to Guru's house. But here I'm also taking it literally in a different way, that you should be ready to give up some of the comforts. So for us, I don't think Gruhatyagi, where we are is gonna make sense, but we should be ready to give up few things. So these are the qualities of the students that we need to have before even we get into, how and what we can learn. So that's, one aspect I just wanted to quickly touch. The next I wanted to now touch is
Akshayji, just
Yeah.
a quick time check. I just wanted to
Yeah,
want
yeah.
you to be aware of,
Yeah.
since we have like 8 other
No,
teams.
no, I understand.
Just, yeah. Thank you.
How many minutes we have?
About like a 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Okay.
Yeah.
I'll quickly run through it. So the intent behind this slide is, okay, now you want to learn. The other thing is now who can teach? So I won't go into all the details, but quickly we talked about Varna Samstha. Again, this was developed and was part of the ancient Sanatan Dharma, which is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. I won't focus about every other category and just wanted to clarify quickly that these were part of the Varna. Varna that also means profession. Over the years, it translated into caste system and whatnot, but I don't want to go there. The other thing I wanted to quickly reference from Gita is
Basically, division of labor instead of
division of labor. Correct. And Lord Krishna, if you guys believe that Gita was told by specific Lord Krishna, then there is a specific shloka about that in Adhyaya 4, Shlok 13, saying that God created this Varna. But the key thing to note, and due to short of time, I'll quickly rush through it, is like the main qualities are Sattva, Raja, Tama, which also we kind of briefly looked at it in IKS as well. But the main thing is, who was ready, who was poised, who could give this knowledge, or who could preserve the knowledge, who could give the knowledge. So in older times it was called or governed by Brahman. The next thing is part of the Gurukul. Like now is like, hey, now what we have, how we have, where we are going to go. So this is part of the Gurukul system. Again, due to short of time, I won't run through all the slides, but mainly the goal was students were living at Guru's house. To support, they were doing a whole bunch of activities as well, in terms of helping the Guru, because again, they did not had, like they were not Uncle Scrooge or rich to have all the money in the world. So they had to do something to figure it out, how to sustain the class of, 10, 15, 20 students. The different topics they covered were Vedas, Upanishad, mathematics, astronomy, medicine or Ayurveda, grammar, linguistics, politics, warfare, martial arts, music, dance, drama, ethics, and dharma.
And interesting thing I want to just quickly add here. It was not like, there was one guru sitting under one tree and then all the kids are huddled under him. They just like we have universities and we have different classrooms and different departments. The Gurukul system was run exactly the same way. We had different departments, so Department of Veda, Department of Maths and Astronomy, Department of Medicine, like that. And that's how the kids learned. So because all the pictures show the kids huddled under one tree. That is not how it happened. They huddled under lots of different trees.
And the one thing to highlight is look at the gamut of things we have, right? This is very in-depth subjects. So people must have been thinking, researching about it for hundreds and thousands of years. So this did not just came up like, oh, I want to start a school, let me craft something up. So this has a very good deep thinking behind it. Again, due to short of time, I'll quickly run through it. I won't go through the daily routines and so on and so forth. The quick thing I wanted to flash is benefits of Sanskrit language by itself. Again, due to short of time, I'll quickly run through it. It has benefits in terms of speech, communication, your cognitive side, your memory benefits. There are yogic benefits as well. Vibrations, we talked about it in IKS class as well. There are other healing benefits because certain vibrations are good for your body. A lot of new research also has been happening these days that if you pray before you eat, it has a different meaning to it, different meaning to your body. Your cultural preservation, uniqueness, communicating ideas clearly. But again, this was all thought before even all this education could come into the place. So that's why I just wanted to quickly touch upon it. This part, some people know, some people do not know, but very quickly what I will say is there is a specific science behind pronouncing different letters of Sanskrit or Marathi. And again, to summarize quickly, it just means that how your tongue moves. Does it touch the roof of the mouth, or it just has to curl, or it's going to touch your teeth, or the sound is going to come from your throat?
Correct. Basically, which part of the throat are you using? The back part, the top palate, the bottom palate, the lips. Which part are you actually using? That's how Akshaji has.
Yeah, that has a very big, deep meaning. So again, the thing to highlight here is something did not came just out of random order. There was thought process behind it. There was research behind it, and I don't think any other languages in the world are kind of structured like that.
Even closely.
Yeah.
Scientific.
If I want to quickly say like "p," like try pronouncing the word "f," like your lips will touch. Like look at "t," your tongue will curl. Talavya, which is like "ch," "ch." So again, to be short of time, I'll quickly move. I think the reason I wanted to land here is like, hey, before even I can talk about knowledge systems, the fundamentals has to be there. Like where are you in your life? When you can learn, how you can learn. Then there are other aspects. Where do you go? Who can teach? And the last is what all you can teach, what all you can learn. Sorry. So some of the things I hope in looking at some of the slides were okay for certain age group, like a focused learning, but certain things like a human being had to learn over his entire lifetime. I don't think it was expected that everybody will know everything at their let's say age of 25. So this was kind of a big gamut, depending on where you are in the life, how much you want, where you want, because you don't need everything in life all the time. So that's why different streams have been done. As interest grew, like for example, we talked about chanda or pattern, people have taken up those studies and say that, oh, let me explore more and more and more, and let me now crystallize, formalize what all this means. So again, this is a very vast, but I just wanted to briefly get to that. The summary or the overall presentation is the basics. I haven't gone into how and what all these different Ashtadasha are exactly. That I think IKS has covered very well. So that's all we had, I think, in the presentation, though.
And what you quickly want to say, there are a lot of castes like Chaturved, Trived, Dvived. They literally like Shikha Chaturvedi. Why are they Chaturvedi? Because ancestors knew all the four Vedas. That's how they became, their caste became Chaturvedi or Dvivedi or Trivedi. So you were whatever you were expected to learn. So as Akshay said, you cannot learn everything, but at least however much you could learn. So sorry, two of us could not present, but
No,
और
no, that's
एक
okay,
बात,
G. That's
हाँ,
okay. Yeah, I think.
ये एक एक पॉइंट, जो संस्कृत के जो बेनिफिट्स हमने देखे, बराबर, तो ऐसा ऐसा है कि हम ऐसा सोचते हैं कि भाई कोई बेनिफिट होगा तो ही हमें कुछ करना है, लेकिन कुछ चीजें ऐसी है उसको विदाउट बेनिफिट भी करनी है। तो उसमें एक हम इसको रख सकते हैं, क्योंकि हर जगह पर इंसेंटिव पर ही चलेंगे तो हमारा जीवन एक सेल्फिश आदमी जैसा हो जाएगा।
Right.
तो
ज्ञान के
एक
लिए ज्ञान। हाँ, समझ
तो इसका जो बेनिफिट्स तो मतलब है ही है, तो सिर्फ समझने के लिए, हमारे समझ के लिए ठीक है, लेकिन हम इसको बेच नहीं सकते, मतलब बेचना नहीं चाहिए। मुझे लगता है कि अच्छा तुम संस्कृत पढ़ो, तुम्हारा मेमोरी अच्छी हो जाएगी, तुम ये करो तुम्हारा ये हो जाएगा, तुम्हें ये चाहिए ना तो संस्कृत पढ़ो, वो चाहिए तो संस्कृत पढ़ो। संस्कृत के ऊपर प्यार है, हमारे ऋषि मुनियों ने, हमारे पूर्वजों ने, उन लोगों ने ये सब कुछ खड़ा किया है, तो हम वो हम प्यार से उठाएंगे, तो उसके बाद उसका जो भी बेनिफिट मिलना है मिलेगा, नहीं मिलना है नहीं मिलेगा, वो तो हमारी कितनी योग्यता है, पात्रता है, उसके ऊपर निर्भर करता है। तो ये थोड़ा सा ये ऐड करना था। और ये संस्कृत जो ऐसा हम कहते हैं कि भाई चलो हम इंडियन है इसलिए बोल रहे हैं, ऐसा नहीं है, लेकिन जो पहले भी बताया कि कोई दूसरी भाषा इसके नियर भी नहीं है, और ऐसा कहते हैं कि दुनिया की सभी भाषा जो है वो संस्कृत से ही निकली हुई है, बराबर। और जो तमिल भाषा है, वन ऑफ द ओल्डेस्ट जिसको कहते हैं, वो भी मतलब वहां से ही आई हुई है। क्योंकि ये इतना रिसर्च डीप गए, ये जो कंठव्य, औष्ठव्य, तालव्य, मूर्धव्य, दंतव्य, जो सभी जो वो है हमारे, तो वो ऐसे नहीं बने। थोड़ा अगर कोई भी एक पोर्शन को भी थोड़ा डीप में सोचे ना, तब पता चलेगा कि क्या है, कितना है। और एक एक पार्ट पर भी लेकर जाएंगे ना, तो हमारी आज की जो करंट लाइफ है उसमें एक पार्ट में पूरी जिंदगी चली जाएगी। इतना डीपर है, हमें दिया गया है हमारे ऋषि मुनियों ने। तो अगर हम उसके बारे में भी सोचे तो भी हमें उसके ऊपर थोड़ा, हमारे जो है उनके ऊपर थोड़ा हमारा वो आएगा। अभी ये देखिए, स्मृति जी इतना बोलती है
दिनेश जी,
अभी।
एक दिनेश जी, क्षमा चाहता हूँ. We do have like 9 other teams that we need to present in the next
Sorry,
1 hour or
sorry.
so.
Yeah,
But we will
no
have a
problem.
longer discussion on this. Very, very good points, Ji. But we'll continue.
Um,
Thank you very much for your group's presentation. Anand Ji, you want to say something?
So I just wanted to mention one thing, Madhya. So just I think yeah, we're going to be running short on time. I don't think we need like like interjection almost
Yeah.
every week. So this topic we are going to be covering separately. So
Yeah,
especially on the language part.
Yeah. Okay, Ji. Yeah, let's move on. We'll come back and we'll circle back to this topic that Dinesh Ji is this thing. And when we are in the Samskrita module, right, we will learn a lot more about the structure of the language and all that stuff. It's going to be very, very interesting. Yeah. So let's move on to the next group. Group 2, Mridula Ji, Janki Thakur Ji, and Subramani Ji. Any of you here?
And I think we have Anandji as well as part of that group.
Sure.
But I was not there for the last two classes. I did not even meet up with anyone. I don't know whether anybody has done. So I'm really sorry.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, yeah. We can definitely hear from you in the following module. It's not a problem.
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Let's move on to group 3. Nishka, Akshay, Pohekar, Anuradha, and Rakesh ji. Any of you here?
Namaste. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Namaste. We are all available.
Namaste ji.
Okay.
Let's start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, Namaste. Our topic is Sanskritam and its modern day implications.
I'm going to take over. This is Anuradha. I'm going to
Before your team
talk about
starts,
Sanskrit.
Namaste. Just a quick
Namaste.
quick interjection before your team starts. Give yourself about 5 to 7 minutes to wrap up. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm going to talk about Sanskrit and its healing power. We all are familiar with the concept Sanskrit effect, which was coined by James Hartswell. Chanting relates to cognitive function, altered states, and quality of life. And recent studies show the positive effect of chanting on memory, letter numbered sequencing, and digital span. How does this happen? The facial movements that occur during chanting, they regulate the heart, improve the memory and attention by activating the cells in the brain and influencing both spheres of the brain. So I'm going to go into specific about the Gayatri Mantra. It is shown that Gayatri Mantra improves learning, concentration, prosperity, eternal power, peace, and quality of life as overall. Rishika, can you please? It has been shown in a research article which is dated to March 2021 and which is authored by Krishnapriya and Nandita Chaubey. And it states the effectiveness of Vedic chanting on cognitive impairments. A case study of a 6-year-old girl with a 6-year-old child with ADHD revealed better effectiveness once the Gayatri Mantra was chanted, and it helped in the cognitive functioning of the child. It was seen that there is an improvement in the attention, concentration, and short-term verbal and both working memory. And also the overactivity and the aggression of the child was at decrease. So this has been proven that the Vedic chanting has an positive impact on the human brain and also the heart. These are the sources from which I got this information. They are listed below. So it will be continued by the next speaker in our group.
Hi. I think it's not visible here. Nishika, could you see? If not, then I will just start, guys. Okay, here you go. Perfect. I will keep the slides separate and my communication will go differently. You guys can read this, but the whole idea about it is the Arthashastra. I'm coming from a finance side here in Austin, Texas. I'm in a lending side, so I was trying to see through that perspective. What I found out is there is so much of similarity. Arthashastra is talking about there should be a soft, the kind of things that they have been talking in 4th century BCE we are using today in a modern history of United States, and one of the best lending industry. Those things does match quite a bit with today's US standards, and this is what sets US separate again. If you see on the left side, these things were recommended for BCE, and today this has been continuously getting improved and helping the lending practices in United States. You guys can refer this. It's like credit worthiness, fair credit lending, collateral based lending, lend for gold, land, assets, government credit, like, hey, offer some incentive to get better housing, better suburbs. If you can go on the next slide. So what I learned out of this is even in today's world, the Arthashastra is not only helping us to prosper, but it's the prosperity is coming in a nicer and smoother iteration where it's been able to hold up really well, and we see that prosperity keep growing, and we can see that in a geopolitics today as well. So I think there is a lot to be contributed from ancient India to today, and I think it's going to get better. So that is the more of an idea. You guys can read it. I don't want to keep too much time here, so thank you.
Namaste, this is Rakesh. So I will be talking about Sanskritam. Sanskritam, sorry, there is a spelling mistake over there. Contribution to current computing. Are we using in the latest era or the generation in the power as part of computing? So uh, just going back, are binary numbers originated from Sanskritam? We say yes, based on the Pingala Acharya Chenda Shastra. The reason is if you look into Bhavani Ashtakam by Sri Adishankara Acharya, he used Chanda Shastra, which goes like Lagu, which are the short syllables, and the Guru, which are the long syllables, like Na Tatu, Na Mata, Na Bandhur, Na Data, right? Which is a short and longer syllables. So, and these are formed based on the 2 power n equation that was written by uh, Pingala in the Pingala Shastra. Okay, so and the current microprocessor systems that we use, they all are based on these binary number systems. Even the specifics like the pen drives coming like 32 GB, 64 GB, or 128 GB, these are all connected with these binary numbers. So which are again going back to the Pingala Acharya's Chanda Shastra. Nishika, it's to you.
Yeah, thank you. So my topic was I chose to research Sanskrit and its implications in AI and natural language processing. So as you already know, Sanskritam is known for its highly structured and precise grammatical rules. This is why it is the language of interest in artificial intelligence, natural language processing, and large language models. So why is this true? This is because Sanskritam is easy to encode and unambiguous. This type of grammar is called context-free grammar, or CFG. So for example, the verbs in Sanskrit are conjugated based on 5 things: tense, mood, voice, number, and person. And nouns are declined based on 3 things: case, number, and gender. So why is this important? This is important because once you can look at a word and quickly break it down into exactly what it means. Furthermore, Sandhi and Samasa allow for the creation of new terms by combining existing terms. So the AI can quickly adapt to new information, and new words can be coined in Sanskrit without extensive reprogramming. For example, the word Duravani means distant voice. Dura means distant, Vani means voice, and it was coined to describe a phone, which was probably not a part of the original Sanskritam vocabulary. So basically, Sanskrit allows for algorithms to break down complex words into a base component and understand the meaning, and also recreate the word in another context. So what are the practical applications in AI? Parsing and generating language is crucial, and the structure of Sanskrit allows for this. Sanskrit also allows to provide nuanced interpretations in semantic analysis, which is understanding the meaning of a sentence. Another thing that we learned that I would like to tie is arthapatti, which is knowledge gained through logical postulation and necessary implication when direct perception or inference is insufficient. So this is important because this is the basis for AI decision-making processes and is called syllogistic reasoning. So the main takeaway, I would say, is that Sanskritam is a timeless language. Its grammatical properties make it a key language for not only poetry, but such as the Bhagavad Gita or Vedas, which are in the Chandas meter, but also modern technological advancements such as AI, NLP, and large language models. Dhanyavad.
Thank you. Is that the last slide for your team?
Yes, it is.
Perfect. Thank you all. Thanks for wrapping up on time. Really appreciate it. Wonderful. We are making notes on every single group's presentation on the site, and we will reach out back to you. Thank you. Let's move on to group 3 now. Group 4, Mukundji, Neerajaji, Shri Pavani ji, and Rudrasen ji. You all ready?
Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. It's coming up. Okay, we got it.
All right. So we are group 4, and you've probably all heard of chanting. And I know that some of the previous speakers spoke about chanting as well. And I know a lot of us are exposed to chanting. Some of us chant. Some of us probably might have heard other people chant. But a lot of times, these rituals and traditions and customs in our Indian knowledge systems, they're not just rituals, but they are actually, it's a system to kind of understand the universe. It's not just for, like Dinesh ji pointed out, hey, I do this, I get this benefit, I please the gods, right? So there is as you could see in the group 1, they presented a lot of topics like, science and mathematics and philosophy. All of this has been passed on through generations through chanting. So we're going to be looking at a quick sneak peek into, why chanting, what chanting, and how chanting works. So Rudrasen ji. Rudrasen ji there? I think he may be having microphone issues.
We can go to your slide, Ji.
Okay, so in the interest of time, I'll skip this. I think we have sufficiently spoken about, like, the benefits of chanting. Again, there are a lot of research papers out there, whether that is, some popular publications or also a lot of Indian publications talking about it. So I'm going to skip this. Just want to highlight here that there is benefits beyond personal benefits here, and we need to look at chanting not just as a way of like personal benefit, but it's a way of sustaining knowledge as well. No worries. So if Sri Pavani ji, if you want to speak about what is chanting.
Namaskaram everyone. So Vedic chanting is the practice of reciting chanting sacred verses from the Vedas, which are the ancient scriptures. I'm sure we are all familiar with it, but I just wanted to give a brief overview. The Vedas are composed in the Sanskritam language, and they are the oldest and religious and philosophical texts in human history. And for millennia, the Vedas were passed on from generation to generation through oral tradition, and chanting is a key component of it. And and Vedic chanting involves specific patterns, rhythms, and pronunciation, and the key being the phonetic accuracy. Learning to pronounce the shabdas properly, and a deep reverence, because it is a spiritual process. And I will give it to Mukundji, because the same thing we are going to emphasize on those in the following slides.
Thank you, Sri Pavani ji. So since we are in a knowledge systems training, we wanted to focus on, what happens in the science of chanting. So I think one task I think we also need to do, all of us, is to understand how human body is looked at from a yogic sciences perspective, or, in terms of our karmendriyas, jnanendriyas, and antakarnas. So essentially what happens in chanting, modern neuroscience talks about it, but of course in yogic sciences, we have our own way of classifying human body, which is more holistic, I would say. As you can see, when one is chanting, all the antakarnas are engaged, right? Of course, you're chanting from memory, your mouth is engaged, so your motor part of the brain is engaged, and then your intellect is remembering what comes next, the order and the sequencing of the shlokas or whatever you're chanting, right? And then, of course, your mind can be wandering. Sometimes you'll probably be chanting and thinking of what to eat for breakfast, right? So that's why they encourage, engaging yet another. So sometimes you might be seeing people hold a japamala and do chanting. where people even do abhishekam and do chanting. So these are all the things that will engage the different parts of the brain, as you can see on the left, to ensure that ultimately, in the ultimate form of chanting, your ahankara or your ego gets dissolved. So when that happens, you can, in a very lack of, better words, I'll say, when that ego gets dissolved, you can reach those meditative states, which will help in your spiritual progress. So that's kind of a very sort of top level things as to what happens in this chanting. But if anybody is interested to chat more about this, I'm happy to take it offline. So with that, I'll pass it over to Prasad ji to quickly talk about some of the important aspects of chanting to remember to do chanting properly.
Yeah, namaste everyone. Quickly, someone has already presented these one. Just to say it, Sanskritam is the only language we have it, where we can pronounce it in different way and get the benefits. So we have a doctor saying that just to uttering the word Vittala, you can eliminate the heart attacks. Something it works as a pranayam. So they used to say just pronounce Vittala, 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 Vittala continuously, it helps your breathing exercise. So there are different ways in our Sanskrit when you are pronouncing. So we have Kantasthana, Talavya Sthana, Mordanya Sthana, Danta, from the with using the tips. And then we have using the lips also we will be pronouncing. So some of those differences when we are pronouncing sha, sa, sha, how the we will be making interchangeably. Someone already said because of our healthy habits and all those things, we're not able to pronounce these properly. But by pronouncing the any chanting, you have the baba tala. When you do it in rhythm way, you'll get the most benefit. Back to you, Mukunji. You're on mute, G.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, one call to action that we wanted to take away, all of you to take away, is if you're not actively chanting every day, it's an opportunity to do. So I would say make a sankalpa. And again, sankalpa is a very interesting concept of making a conscious intention just to decide, okay, I'm going to chant this particular thing for this long, for these many days. Make that sankalpa. And I would say just do the sadhana, stick to that sankalpa. And I would say start with something as simple as Om, right? For 5 minutes every day. You can just do a simple, and again, it's not like you do one time and you see the effects. A lot of chanting has to do with neuroplasticity, right? There is there is scientific evidence to show that it rewires your brain. So I would say do a sankalpa and potentially use something like a japamala or something to make it more effective. So yeah, that's our slot. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Let's all take this as this call to action seriously and work towards it. Okay. Let's move on to group 5. Group 5 is, let's see, Rohit ji, Shivagami ji, Darshan ji, Bhuma ji. You all ready?
Yes, Ji, I'm ready. Let me share the screen.
Go for it. You will have up to 8:20. It's 8:12 right now, but about 7.5 to 8 minutes to wrap
Sure.
up. Thank you.
Can you guys see the screen? Yes, I can see. Cool. So this topic is how Ayurveda uses Anumana for diagnosis. Cool. In this presentation, we will be covering on a very high level about what is Ayurveda and how it is associated with the 3 different body doshas. And then we will define a strategy to let everyone know how they can determine their own body type as well, which is a precursor in terms of how they can leverage Anumana later on. And then we will talk about how different food items that we eat are related with the doshas and what is the importance of seasonal eating as well. And the other aspect of then using the Anumana inference in terms of 3 doshas, how they are related. And we will then talk about how food, how dhatus, metals, and yoga can help establish the anumana as well as the dosha in that category. And eventually we will talk about the diagnosis part as well using this anumana. Cool. So Ayurveda, as you know, is a Sanskrit term which deals with life science or science of life. And it's an ancient Indian life system where it emphasizes on the medicine and the holistic well-being of body, mind, and soul. And it is believed that maintaining a good balance among these three elements is essential for good health. As part of our 18 traditional knowledge systems, it comes under Upveda. Cool. Rashmika ji, Darshani or
Sure,
Shivagami ji.
can you
Shiv-
Hariom, can you hear me?
yes.
So, in Ayurveda, the definition is broadly given by Shushruta in Shushruta Samhita. Samadosha samagnischa samadhatu malakriyah prasannatmendriyamanaha swastha ityabhidhiyate. That is to say that it is not just the physical body that needs to be in balance, but also the mental, emotional states of the human being that needs to be completely balanced. And it is the physical and mental states being in balance that is constitutes as swasth, that is health, and that is the holistic approach that Ayurveda takes.
Amazingly. Okay, let me go ahead. Okay, now overall, as part of the Ayurveda, we can see there are three different body doshas, which are basically the three fundamental energies in the body, called as Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And these doshas are believed to actually determine person's physical and mental constitution, which are required to be kept in balance. So now if I talk about Vata, it is an element of air and space, and it basically highlights communication as well as creativity. And the characteristics itself of the Vata itself is light, dry, cold, rough, and mobile. Like I'll talk later, like how they are applicable to the human body. But in general, if I talk about Vata as a property, like what it signifies is basically dryness, coldness, roughness, and mobility. And for the people, it is actually related with high vata dosha, which basically calls out high nervous system problems, respiratory. And you can always see like it's related with the dryness, coldness. So you will get respiratory issues, cold feet, dry skin, anxiety, and all that, which is related as part of the characteristics as well. Similarly, with the pitta dosha, like if you can see that it is related with fire and water, it represents transformation, metabolism, and energy. And its characteristics are basically it has a hot property, sharp, oily, and liquid. And generally, people with the pitta dosha are having many issues with digestive system. They are having heartburn, constipation, anger issues, and all that. And the kapha system is basically earth and water, is basically like representing stability, immobility, and like groundedness, all that. And the characteristics are heavy, slow, smooth, and stable people. And it is associated with skeletal system as well as lethargy, depression. So now giving an example in the day-to-day life, for example, if you catch a cold, you got a runny nose, then generally we get warm milk, we can get kadha, which is having a hot properties. We do not say, oh, go and eat ice cream. It is counterintuitive. Like how can someone having a runny nose can eat ice cream? But if you look at the different body doshas, you can easily determine which food you need to go forward with. And similarly, if you are having a constipation, if you are having a heartburn, you cannot just say and go eat spicy food, take some very spicy food as well, because it is not aligning with that. Similarly with kapha, is like a lethargy, a person who is eating way too much, they will having a stable, they will not move much. So in that way, the kapha itself is causing you to stay grounded in mobility. And these are the people which are basically related with tamasic dosh as well. Sorry, tamasic property as well. I don't want to go into that, but I'm just highlighting a food for thought for everyone to figure out like why it is that. Cool. I think it is 3 minutes left. I don't want to consume everyone's time. Cool. I think I'll just skip over it. The highlight here is this is a slide for each one of you, because if you don't know what is your dosha type, please use this. There are the doshas are characterized based on physical characteristics, personal traits, and health tendencies. Like the vata dosh, they are people having they are small, thin, and wait, okay, sorry, they are small, thin, and wiry build, and they are having dry hair, skin. And similarly, if you talk about pitta dosh, like they are having medium build, athletic, muscular, they are having competitiveness, but they also have frustration and anger as well. And even with the kapha, you can see people with a heavy build, thick hair, and they are more prone to lethargy and depression. So now it is for you as an exercise for each one of you. Like, allow me to help yourself. So the point is, go through this, figure out what are your characteristics, and then apply this knowledge to take the next steps, which Shiv Kamiji and Darshan will be going ahead with. Go
Before
ahead.
before he moves on, just want to say that while each of us are going through our to determine what our dosha or prakriti is, just note that not all of us have a single prakriti. A lot of us, most people actually have two dosha characteristics. Like we are vata pitta combination. We are combinations of everything. So this is a very not super comprehensive, but just a high level kind of touch and go. Yeah.
Namaste, namaste everyone. My name is Radhika. I'm telling about Ayurvedic food habits. These Ayurvedic regimes keeps us in harmony with the universe and in the cosmic life of force. The daily diet we have to, sorry, diet is the most important term that keeps, this is the long-term process. This keeps physical remedial measures and herbs. We have to include 1/3 of the everyday diet. 1/3 of the diet must be herbs and lifestyle. The right amount of the right rest will be need for herbs. Sufficient exercises and right exposed to the sun, yoga and meditation. We have to do in our daily life. Everyone must include Surya Namaskar. It is very easy to do for every easy for kids and adults also. We can follow Surya Namaskar very easy. At least 2 to 3 sets of Surya Namaskar we have to do. And this is the spiritual aspects of the life. Meditation, our mind will be calm when we do the meditation. All these which can be implemented by ourselves. If we follow these Ayurvedic food habits, we can establish the right rhythm of in our life. Okay, Darshan ji will be continued. Thank you, ji.
Shivakamiji.
Okay, I think we don't have any time left. So this is a live example of how we need to increase our vata so they can talk faster, so that we can communicate things faster. And all of you need to increase your pitta so that you can understand whatever we're saying faster. So this slide is just talking about how metals in our that we use in our daily lives can be is actually related to the doshas that we have. I'm going to go specifically into one example that as women we wear. The silver jewelry that we are told to wear is, we always notice that we wear silver jewelry at the lower half of our body. So the Odyanam or even the toe ring that is made of silver, it's never gold. Why is that so? Because it is related to this Vata dosha, and Vata sits in the lower half of the body. And and it is also directly connected to the reproductive system of the woman. And so there is nadis, and there's a lot more to this, but just as a high level, I wanted to point out. And also, we drink from the copper chumbu, the pittala, and that actually, cools the system down. So the water will be cooled, and we drinking that type of water. So like that, metals are also connected to the our doshas and body types. I think the next few slides are all about examples on how you can move on, on how each type of dosha would, the lakshana and everything. Depending on time, Darshanji, you can take it away.
Yeah, so we can skim through this. Basically, it's probably a conversation that happens at home where a kid is talking to his mom, probably a boy is having some problem, and so this is just the diagnosis that somebody might do at home. The mom is not having any Ayurveda education as such, but then even though she would know certain things. So these are basically lakshanas where, you have a stomach pain or pain keeps shifting, and then she will ask few questions. Hey, do you have a bowel movement, or do you have a good what was the meal that you eat? And then based on her experience, the mom will say, hey, it looks like some pitta or vata imbalance. And then she would say, hey, I've given you some ajwain powder. Can you take that? And that's can you go to the next slide?
And this is very much like grandma Vaidyam, right? So it's all come down from our ancestors also. How beautiful it is. Not just the Shastra, moms and grandmas don't necessarily know Vata, Pitta, Kapha and all these technical terms, but it is so implemented and integrated into our daily lives.
And one more thing is like this is not something as a theoretical knowledge. I started applying this from the last 2 months with my kids as well. So just sharing with you, there are some food items like chicory root, trifla. They are like balancing all the three doshas, and it is very important for each one of us to figure out whether to take a medicine versus just going with the natural remedies. And in my case, at least, like most of the kids, most of the issues which my kids face, they are actually getting benefited from the basic food items itself. Like if your kid is having constipation because they drink less water, go with trifla, and next day you will see a charm, and they will be very happy. Anyways, we have 4 minutes.
Darshanji and the rest of Group 5, right? This is like extremely handy and useful. And we would like you to obviously to share the slides with us. Due to shortage of time, we do have to move on. I'm assuming that you have more examples in these slides, right? Analysis.
These are exactly same examples. So
Okay. So would you like
can wrap.
to all make like a closing statement on your presentation, and then we can discuss more offline?
One thing I would like to say is most of these things is ingrained in our life. If you see, we use turmeric in our food. Ginger is always there. We use tea, different kind of tea. All these cardamom, cinnamon, everything is there. So everything is balanced, and our food habits itself is influenced by Ayurveda. So we are lucky in that sense.
Very cool.
And it's also not just food habits, but not just food habits in the physical sense, but also the mental and emotional states that we have. For example, earlier groups were all talking about chanting and how that is, activating so many other. So that also balances the doshas in our system. So anytime there's a Vikriti, it will bring us back to our true state, which is, we go philosophically, yes, our true state is swasthya, is happiness, it is calm, peaceful. The peaceful self is the true state of our nature, of the human nature. And it all aligns together. So it's not like this is Ayurveda, this is separate. It's not all separate. Everything is all actually working together.
Agreed.
Dhanyavad.
Very nice. Yeah, wonderful. We do have to move on. Thank you so much. And just a note to everyone, right? We started off with the first team talking about the classification, then the benefits of Sanskritam, and then the benefits of chanting, and now using that knowledge system for Ayurveda analysis and application. So great progression of topics as well today. Group 6, let's get ready. This is, I think Reema ji was part of it. Yeah. Kalyan ji, Srini ji, Vijay Durga ji, and Reema ji.
Namaste all. Actually, we are not prepared with our presentation, but maybe next week we can do.
Yeah, no problem, ji. No problem. Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no issues. Yeah. Just keep up your background reviews and ask any questions that you might have. Okay. Group 7, Surekha ji, DC ji, Vasundhara ji, Ashwin ji. Are you ready?
Namaste, everyone. Yes, we are. And our topic today is about Vedic chanting, impact on human well-being. I'd like to introduce our team. It's Vasundhara ji, Surekha ji,
Namaste.
ji, and myself. We are part of Group 7 and very happy to talk through this part here. This is a quick agenda here.
Yeah. A quick logistical thing. It's 8:28 right now. Let's go no more than 8:35 if possible, so we have the last few minutes of
Absolutely.
our session. Yeah, thank you.
So first of all, I would like to say that because it's Vedic chanting, I would like to start off with the Mula Mantra, Om. As previously, most folks have actually expressed the benefits of chanting. I'm starting off with Om, so that's number one. So we'll start off with intro, and then the Vedic chanting, and then we'll do the tradition. We'll walk through the powers and rules and methodology, and then rules and benefits and personal testimonials. That's our flow. Like to have Ashwin ji talk about the introduction. Ashwin ji.
Hi. Yeah. Namaste, everybody. So, our topic is the impact of chanting. Can you hear me? Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, just one second. So, the topic is related to the impact, the human impact of Vedic the effect of chanting or Vedic chanting on the well-being. And as it was discussed in previous slides, that it is the Vedic chanting has origin to the Vedas, and Vedas are considered to be infinite. And in the beginning of the creation, the background is that in the beginning of the creation, there was only one Veda, and the number of revealed texts was far greater than what we know of the current four Vedas, just in one Veda. But it was Ved Vyasa who, because it was lost, most of it. So Ved Vyasa took the task of categorizing it into four, so that it could be preserved. It is just like categorizing, like the elements were categorized into a periodic table, so it helps preserve. So in that sense, Vedas, where the infinite knowledge was categorized into four Vedas, and by Ved Vyasa. And the first one, just a brief introduction, like the first one is the Rig Veda, which is the collect Rig Veda, Yajurved, Samved, Atharvaved, and Rig Veda starts with the hymns. It is the oldest known scripture uh, in US in the human history, and it's a collection of hymns dedicated to Agni, Indra, Soma, and others. And this is divided into 10 books called mandalas, and each mandala contains hymn composed by then carried down by various rishis, 10 rishis. And the one of the important thing is the Rig Veda 10th mandala also includes the Nasagya Sukta, which speculates the origin of the universe. So basically, it is so much philosophical that even the origin of universe was considered that time. But to propagate it, the Vedic chanting uh, has evolved to, and then we'll go. So similarly, there's a Yajurved, Samved, Atharvaved, and I'll go to the next slide. So the Vedic chanting tradition is in 2003, UNESCO called it as intangible heritage of humanity, and this declaration has started bringing international recognition to the excellence of Vedic chanting tradition of India, and it has survived because of the encoding and the wisdom contained in the Veda through an extraordinary effort of memorization and to elaborately worked out mnemonic methods. And the purity and fail-safe techniques devised for Vedic chanting in the olden days has led to the access to one of the ancient literatures of humanity in its entirety today. And there are various purposes, and it has a lot of significance. Yeah.
So chanting or recitation, it can act as a, pardon me?
A little echo, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so as I was saying, the like recitation or chanting, it normally awakens the chakras. So in olden days, there is a saying that the person who has studied all the four Vedas are supposed to be, called as enlightened being. So it is a very powerful tool. The other powers are already on site. It has a vision and it gives calming effect, as everybody knows. So due to the interest of time, next slide, please. So now, how can we make this, recitation powerful? So, as per as the Taittiriya Upanishad, so they have laid certain set of rules, which incorporates all these 6 aspects, as you can see in the slide. So, the basic one is the pronunciation. So, the previous groups have also mentioned about, the voices which produces from the throat, different parts of the throat. Next comes the swaras. Then the duration of like in the duration, how long you will have to specify a certain like alphabet. So and emphasis is given. So we all know about alpa prana, maha prana. So it has to be uttered in the exact same sequence and continuity and with the punctuation. Yeah, over to you, Odyssey.
Thank you very much. So next we're moving into the methodology of chanting. So the recitation is done in 2 formats, prakritihi and then vikritihi. So it actually breaks down like what each of them actually makes sense, sort of like continuous recitation, word by word recitation, and then recitation of words in pairs. So these are all the ones that we already learned. And by the way, what we are actually talking about is applies to all age groups. Is not just middle or high school or adults. So this is like the basics of chanting that can be that's open for everybody. That's one thing I wanted to point out. So Vikriti is actually going through the different various components of what was explained before, like where do all the things actually hit in terms of the vibrations, because Vedas are actually all about the vibrations. So as it was in the previous slide, it's basically going through the benefits of like starting with Mool Mantra, it's all hitting all over your physical body and then out in the universe. Next, we're talking about the research. Sureka ji, can you take over?
Yes. Not as many as the research are done by, on Vedic chanting compared to yoga. Based on the journal, we have few points. It affects on pathways and produces incredible vibration when we do the Vedic chanting. It and stress and pressure also it will reduce. Its significance, it is most decreases the depression, anxiety, and cortisol levels. I can go to next. Yeah, we have in neurological system, it's been impacted by meditation, mantra therapy, music therapy, raga therapy, and Vedic chanting. But by these frequencies, nervous system, brain will be relaxed by these Vedic chanting melodies, increase incredibly sound vibrations that are fit to chanting. It develops, I think, vitality at all degrees or developing. So it influences the psychological and arrive at the subliminal level.
Awesome.
And
Thank you.
yes.
So last day, I wanted to thank you, Sureka ji. The team's been wonderful in putting all these things together. So personal chanting testimonials, we wanted to kind of get all the teams together and say which were the top mantras that actually made sense and what has made impact in our personal lives. So these are the ones we came up with. Vasandraji mentioned like Vishnu Sahasrama, and then Suktas and Rudras. and we have like the top three. We can't go through every single one of them, but we all kind of agreed that every one of them during the most critical times in our lifetime, they have actually helped. Meaning, every one of them, the vibrations, what we say for ourselves is not just for ourselves; it's for somebody else as well. So that's what it is. We are all part of the universe, and we internalize. We we with intentionality, we are actually saying this out loud. And it's not just for our benefit. Obviously, we are living for everybody else and in part of the universe. So we are just one parcel of the entire universal making. With that said, lastly, what obviously say about the shloka? Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Dhanyawada.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, DCG and all the other team members. That was a fantastic topic, an elaboration of the benefits of chanting presented by Mukunji's group earlier. Let's move on. We have Group 8, Jaideep ji, Sri Charan ji, and Deepta Rao ji. Anyone here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
So I couldn't really meet up with many people in my group, so I made one by myself. Is that
Okay? No problem. Yeah.
My
Go for it.
apologies, Deepta here. My apologies. I was traveling to India and I just
Okay, no
came back
problem.
to the
No
whole
problem.
thing.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we have plenty of opportunities in the future. Yeah. Go ahead, Sri Charan. Sri Charan ji.
So I'll be talking about Vedic chanting and cognitive science. You probably heard this a lot, so I'll just go through it quick. So I'll be talking about these six topics. So what are Vedas, structure of Vedas, importance of chanting Vedas, what is cognitive science, and how does cognitive science relate to Vedas? So what are Vedas? Vedas mean knowledge in Sanskrit and the knowledge about everything. Vedas are Apurushaya. Purushaya means human being, and Apurushaya means not human being. So this means that the Vedas weren't created by human beings, but were God's knowledge. But how did God's knowledge come to us human beings? So when the universe was being created, it was told that it was made by the cosmos. So the cosmos made cosmic vibrations, and the rishis and saints that are doing like meditation captured those vibrations and like remembered them, and then when they became gurus, they passed it on to generation. So like guru shishya parampara. So that shishya grew up, become a guru, and then passed it on to their shishyas. So the Vedas, and then lastly they were written by Vedavyasa. So the Vedas are a large body of religious texts originating in ancient India, composed in Vedic Sanskrit. The texts constitute the oldest layer of Sanskrit literature and the oldest scriptures of Sanatana Dharma. So I'll be talking about the structure of Vedas. So the Vedic Indian scriptures are divided into two parts, Shruti and Smriti. Shruti is what we hear and Smriti is what we remember. So Shruti is divided into the Vedas. So Rig Veda, the oldest Veda, which is a collection of hymns explaining deities, philosophy, and nature. The Upaveda of this Veda is Ayurveda. Yajur Veda, the collection of Sanskrit mantras and verses, and also describes how to perform Hindu worship and rituals. The Upaveda of this Veda is Dhanur Veda. Samaveda, the collection of melodious chants, essentially the words of Rig Veda converted into music. The Upaveda of this Veda is Gandharva Veda. And then lastly, Atharva Veda, the collection of hymns, spells, and rituals that help with everyday life. The Upaveda of this Veda is Artha Veda or Artha Shastra. There are 6 disciplines which must be studied to learn the Vedas. These are called the Vedangas, which are Vyakarana, Jyotisha, Nirukta, Shiksha, Chanda, and Kalpasutra. So now the Smritis. The Smritis are things we remember. So Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Itihasas like Mahabharata and Ramayana, Tantras, Dharma Shastra,
and the 18 Puranas, which also include Bhagavatam. The Smriti also includes writings of Acharya, Jagadguru, Rasik, Bhakt, and saints. Importance of Vedas. Vedas offer profound insights into the nature of reality, the concept of God, the purpose of human existence, and the principles of righteousness. So basically, it tells you who is God, what about like nature, and what are we humans. Vedas also prescribe the ways to gain comforts and material benefits. They also guide the path to attaining salvation, which includes dharma, karma, and moksha. Importance of chanting Vedas. So these are the importance. So enhanced memory. So they give you like better memory, better attention span, so more focus, concentration, reduced anxiety, improved cognitive flexibility. And what is cognitive science? Cognitive science is a multidisciplinary domain which focuses on mind and intelligence. So it deals with perception, learning, sensation, memory, language, imagery, cognition, neuroanatomy, anything related to mind and intelligence. How Vedas and Sanskrit are related to cognitive science. Vedic mantras and brain activity. So chanting Vedic mantras like the Gayatri mantra produces sound vibrations at a specific frequency. These vibrations impact neural pathways in the brain and enhance cognitive functions. So some research on the Vedic chanting. So Dr. Howard Steingel's research on the Gayatri Mantra found that chanting it produces frequencies that influence the brain positively. So in the areas responsible for memory and verbal skills. Scientist Dr. James Hartzell observed that memorizing and chanting Vedic mantras enhances the size of the brain regions associated with cognitive function. So, impact on cognitive abilities. Chanting Vedic mantras have been found to improve memory, decision making, sensory perception, and other positive effects. These effects are believed to result from increased neural activity and better connectivity with the brain. So, dhanyavad. I also want to share that Vedic chanting not only offers profound spiritual wisdom but also enhances cognitive functions, bridging ancient knowledge with modern science. By embracing these practices, we can unlock the full potential of our mind and experience greater mental clarity and peace. Dhanyavad.
Thank you very much, Sricharan. That was fantastic. Wonderful work. Really appreciate you putting this together and participating in this whole activity. Okay, we move on to the last group, Group 9. Mahesh Ji, Tulasi Chandanaji, are you available?
Namaste, everyone. Uh, yeah, I am available. And sorry, I couldn't meet up with my teammates, so I just put together one by myself. Let me share my screen.
Okay. Yeah. Just keep the presentation to about 8 minutes or so. Tulsi ji.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Can you guys see my screen?
Not yet. It's coming up.
Okay. How about now?
Yeah.
Looks good.
See it. Yeah. Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay, just 1 second. Sorry. So after listening to everyone's slides and everyone's presentation, everything is great. I appreciate everyone for doing that. And so my presentation is on just what is IKS, because whenever I was we covered so many topics and so many heavy topics that even I wasn't sure if I'm understanding correctly. And when my 7-year-old son came to me and asked what exactly is IKS, that thought triggered me into doing this presentation and just helping myself to understand better. That way I can just explain the same to my son. So this is my presentation is basically on what is IKS to a elementary level kid. So the IKS is Indian Knowledge Systems, and what it brought to me is like the main attention grabbing point for me is it is holistic and interconnected. So when I say holistic and interconnected, what is that exactly? So IKS is the ancient and diverse body of knowledge that is developed in India, which has so many subjects in it, like philosophy, science, maths, medicine, arts, spirituality, music, anything you take. And when I say holistic approach, it exactly means that we are not just learning one subject and solving one problem at a time. We are actually learning everything together at the same time. That way, we are understanding every concept and understanding how they are actually interconnected to each other and how each subject is helping the other subject. So it is actually viewing and addressing all the subjects, the entire knowledge as a whole, and emphasizing on interconnectedness and understanding how these elements are connected to each other. As an example, I want to give like mind, body, and soul. So generally, if I have a stomach pain, all I have to do is now I'll go to a doctor, and doctor will just give me some medications for just for the stomach pain, treating the stomach pain. But to approach this holistically, what we are doing is we will use the physical symptoms. We'll also consider the mental symptoms of the human body that they are going through. For example, maybe they are frustrated, they are stressed out, or something like that. And the lifestyle that they are choosing, for example, maybe they had like like junk food or unhealthy diet, and emotional well-being. So this is like the holistic. This is the holistic approach to me. So we are not just treating one problem at a time, but we are looking at the problem uh, as an entirety. So this is what IKS to me. And so the important aspect that what we learned all these 4 sessions is about the ancient Indian education system. And so uh, so India had a really rich tradition of education that was community supported and accessible to a wide across section of society. I mean, I was like very happy to hear that when in our classes, like there were like patshalas and like the Guru Sishya Parampara and everything. It was like just very reachable and available to each and every person. Like for example, let's say a old person is sitting just in front of their home, and bunch of kids are listening to her storytelling. That way, she is like teaching them like the aspects like how to be a honest person, like do not lie, stuff like that. So yeah, one second, sorry. Yeah, so to talk about Guru Sishya tradition, so we had this student would live with the guru or the teacher and receive education in various subjects in return for their service. The relationship between the guru and the student was deeply personal, with the guru guiding not only in the academic subjects but also in life, ethics, and spiritual matters. Uh, so, as an example, what I would say is like I'll always ask recipes for my mom, and she says like, no, no, this is not how you would learn cooking. You just have to be in the kitchen with me. Then that's how you learn cooking. So that was my mom's take. And coming to the centers of learning, as I said, like every village, every home, every front yard was a school in those days. These there were like traditional schools where students would live with their teachers in the natural setting, as I just said, learning from their guru, and the education was focused mainly on like Vedas, philosophy, mathematics, astrology, grammar, and the arts. And it doesn't have to be like when you say these words, we feel like these are like wow, these are like very heavy subjects, but it doesn't have to be. Like I was surprised, like a small Panchatantra story would teach a kid on honesty, like how to handle a difficult scenario in their life, just as an example. And we do had like Buddhist monasteries and viharas where education centers like Nalanda and Takshashila was very famous. And these institutions were highly advanced, offering education in subjects like medicine, astronomy, law, logic, and grammar. And coming to the Vedic education, the Vedic system of education was based around the study of the Vedas and other sacred texts. It was highly intellectual and focused on disciplines such as grammar, rhetoric, medicine, astronomy, and mathematics. Coming to the curriculum, Vedas and scriptures, students were taught to read, write, and memorize the Vedic texts, which were considered the foundation of knowledge. And when we say mathematics, ancient Indian scholars made significant contributions to the mathematics, including concepts such as zero, the decimal system, and algebra. Astronomy and astrology, the study of celestial bodies and time cycles was important, with scholars making advanced observations and calculations. Ayurveda, which is a medicine, traditional medicine based on natural and herbal remedies, was an important part of the curriculum. Art and culture education also included the study of music, dance, and other cultural practices. Philosophy, there was a strong emphasis on spiritual learning with the study of philosophy, ethics, and metaphysics. And coming to the mode of learning, we had the oral tradition. Knowledge was passed down orally and memorization was highly emphasized. Reciting texts correctly was crucial as written texts were rare. Debates and discussions was always encouraged to the students so that they can engage in debates and discussions which help them develop critical thinking skills. The art of dialogue was central in education. Practical knowledge. Education was not purely theoretical, but included practical experiences and fieldwork, especially in areas like agriculture, medicine, and governance. So the subjects of study were, the curriculum was quite diverse, and we included subjects like grammar and linguistics, knowledge of Sanskrit grammar, especially texts like Panini's Astadhyayi, rhetoric, the art of persuasion and communication, ethics and dharma, the study of moral duties, social responsibilities and righteousness, mathematics, including the concept of zero, geometry, algebra, and arithmetic, astronomy and astrophysics, the study of planets, stars, and cosmic systems, politics and governance, the study of statecraft, law, and administration. And decline of the ancient education system was started with invasion of foreign powers like Mughals and later, obviously with the British colonization. Uh, Coming to the next slide. And we focused more on Astadasha, yeah, Astadasha Vidyasthana. These are 18 traditional branches of learning. So we learned about Siksha, which is phonetics or pronunciation, Kalpa, which is rituals and ceremonies, Vyakaranam, the grammar, Sanskrit grammar, Nirukta, etymology, study of origin and meaning of the words, Chandas, meter in poetry, especially in Vedic hymns, Jyotishya, astrology and astronomy, Nyaya, logic, Mimamsa, Vedanta, Ayurveda, Arthasastra, Rasasastra, Tantra, Kavya, Sahitya, Dharmasastra, Puranas, Veda. These 18 branches of learning cover a wide range of disciplines from a philosophical and spiritual to the practical and scientific. The mastery of these fields was often sought to attain wisdom, balance, and a harmonious life in the context of both worldly and spiritual pursuits. Uh, we studied about the core principles of education. Actually, we studied this part of the Ayurveda, but I believe that these are not just part of the Ayurveda, but for education system overall. So the critical for ideal text would be the text selection should be samagra, which means comprehensive, covering all aspects of the subject. Rishi Pranita, authored by sages with experiential wisdom. Punarukti Rahita, free from redundancy, ensuring clarity and consciousness. Sarva Buddhi Sthara Upayogi, accessible to uh, all learners of all intellectual levels. That means anyone can study these books. And teacher and student dynamics should be there. And guru's qualities would be sastrajnata, mastery of the subject, anubhava, practical experience, nirahankarata, egolessness and humility, karuna, compassion towards the students. And Sishya's qualities should be Vinaya, humility and receptiveness, Smriti Shakti, strong memory and analytical skills, Indriya Nigraha, discipline over senses. I feel all the kids are losing that these days. Methodology of learning should be daily routine, like begin at Brahma Muhurta for mental clarity, perform Saucha, like purification rituals and Sandhya Vandana, prayers to cultivate focus. And threefold practice that would be Pathanam, repetitive reading to internalize the knowledge, Mananam, reflective contemplation to grasp the deeper meanings of this knowledge, and Nidhi Dhyasanam, meditative absorption of to realize the truths. And key sutra for me would be abhyasena vina vidya na siddhyati. So without practice, knowledge cannot be mastered. And yeah, so and lastly, the sadhana chatustaya, the fourfold discipline would be viveka, uh, uh, discernment between nitya and anitya, uh, vairagya, detachment from sensory pleasures, uh, shat sampatti, six virtues of for self mastery would be shama, dhamma, uparati, titiksha, shraddha, and samadhana, and the finally mumukshatva. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you very much. And, a special word of thanks to every single participant here who has been with us through this first module and made the effort to go back, review, create slides, get together as teams, present individually. We know it takes time and effort. A big thanks and applause to all the participants for your commitment and your enthusiasm here. What we want to request before we wrap up today is two things. One is we want to request you to send the slides, please, to that email address, knowledgesystems@gmail.com. I have the email address posted again in our WhatsApp chat group. Please send it there. We will review it, and we have made notes along the way. We want to provide individualized feedback. Okay, so it'll be very helpful, and then it'll help you kind of retarget the approach, or even see it in the context of the whole IKS world. Second thing is, I think Smriti ji is still here. Yes, Smriti ji, do you like to say a few words?
Namaste, everyone. Very happy to see all the presentations, and very well captured. I know all of you are pressed for time in terms of preparation, getting together, meeting, and then putting everything together. I think for the first module of the course, it's a good start. I feel. And as we progress through the various topics, I'm sure the presentations get finer and finer, focusing more on the various themes that we are going to discuss as part of the sessions. So our heartfelt appreciation to all who presented today. Yes.
Thank you, Ji. Thank you.
One more, probably, when you have free time, you could even hone the presentations, focusing on specific audiences. We've been discussing a lot about how to take forward this to the community in terms of, say, school students, middle school or high school students. So if you can also fine-tune your presentations a bit to just imagining that you would be presenting to an audience of that age group, what and how you would include that, you can hone your presentations accordingly.
Yeah. Yes, Ji. Thank you so much. Okay. So we'll wrap up for today. Next week, we'll meet at 7 a.m. Central Time, as usual. Okay. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all. We'll stay in touch. Please send your slide deck. Thank you. Bye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
धन्यवादः. पुनर्मिलामः.
Punarmilamah.